wasn't supposed to stop playing music, so apologies for that chat. But hello, bonjour, welcome to the stream. This is going to be something that might be reoccurring. So I kind of back more than a few games on Kickstarter because I'm an idiot and I like seeing my name in credits. And some of those games are starting to come out, and I thought it would be fun if we could get together as some of those games come out and essentially review them and decide, was it a good idea to actually back them, and do I have backer's remorse? So that's what this is. This is the first in that. We're going to be starting with a game called Ambition and Minuet in Power. It is... how do I describe it? It is set in 18th century Paris. You're trying to basically navigate the political turmoil of the upcoming revolution. And it's essentially a dating sim, sort of visual novel type thing. And I think it's quite interesting conceptually, so we're going to go ahead and play that together. Probably for an hour and a half, 2 hours, then I'm going to get lunch. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So yes, welcome aboard. Let me just switch to, yep, I wasn't sensible enough to set game capture. 1 second. I really should use studio mode more often. I don't have to look so unprofessional. And I need you to capture this window. There we go. And before I start, well, thank you to any new followers. I don't know which are bots and which are not. The last one I see here that is probably not is Strawbrios, so thank you for the follow. Obviously, you're welcome to follow at any time. It's great. Yeah, I'm umming and ahhing a lot today. I'm not my usual professional self. I like that in the statement of me saying, oh, I'm umming and ahhing a lot, I shouldn't be doing it. I did, in fact, have to stop and go, So let's get into it so that I have things to talk about. Oh, actually, something to talk about. If you are a fan of the Arma ops and streams that we do, first of all, I'll be doing one on Saturday. It is a World War II op that I've made. I will be playing as well, so it should be fun. It's US Rangers at the end of the war fighting Germans. The other thing is that Acer, the unit that I play with, is now recruiting. So if you've wanted to get in on some Arma and have been looking for a unit, you can do that with us. I will put the link in chat in just a minute, because I need to go dig it up from our Discord. You can join our Discord and come hang out with us and join any of the ops. Probably not Saturday, because it's a sort of, you know, a bit early. So 1 second, we have here we are. No, we don't. Okay, I'll just link to this post on Reddit in chat. Yes, I know my own chat reserved, don't go away. So if anybody wants to join, you can find it there. It will be in the what's the word? YouTube videos and stuff like that for any of the mods. So yes, let's actually get back into this. Let me know how the stream is, guys. You know, is audio and all okay? Is everything holding up the way it's supposed to be? Do I have a voice changer on? Of course I do.
I'm so sorry for that. Thanks, Magnus. Anyway, hopefully you understood any of that. But let's get into the game. Prologue, Yvette's story. 2nd of Mars, 1789. I'm assuming that's March. The carriage rumbles and bounces along the cobbles as you approach Paris. It's taken over a week to get here, even carrying just yourself and your luggage. These dot means there's more story ahead. Your fiancé, Armand, arranged for the carriage to take you from a small village to a tavern he enjoys called the Orphan's Feast. That is a grim name for a tavern. There he'll meet up with you, you'll likely take dinner together, and he'll show you to your new home in Paris. For now, though, you've finished all your books, and Armand's letters are your only entertainment other than staring out the window. So This choice is for characterization purposes and will not impact your stats. Speak your mind. These buttons let you choose what to say next. So what are these? Peril, credibility. Obviously that's money. Why is it using the symbol for a pound? I don't know. Let's take in the sights. You crane your neck out the window to peer at Paris. It's even more than you imagined. Streets are a riot of colour and energy as people go about their day. Elegant persons of fashion strut like brilliant peacocks. Students stumble under the weight of their books. Beggars alternate between pleading for alms and shouting incentives at passers-by. Everything feels significant, like the world's next act hinges on all of their choices. The part of you is worried by the unfamiliar surroundings. You mostly feel excited. This place is the next stage for your new life. How is this characterization if I'm required to do all of it? Let's read the letter. You must have read the brief letter over 100 times, but you always find new details to puzzle over. Armin's letters were extremely long, a habit you'd frequently tease him in your own missives. Cher Yvette, I know it may be sudden, but I want to invite you to live with me in Paris. Or as his family losses today lowers the cost. This isn't Frostpunk, Magnus. Back in your provincial hometown, you were engaged to Armin before he moved north to Paris to participate in the Estates General. He dreamed of changing the country, and this was the political event of the century. You mailed love letters soaked in perfume. He replied with volumes how he misses you, a romance that helped make up for all the inconvenience. Not that your parents cared much about the romance. At first you'd been afraid to tell them their youngest daughter wanted to move far away. Instead they nearly threw you onto the carriage to follow Armin to Paris. You understood the significant benefits your common family received from your marriage into a noble one. You couldn't help but be a little annoyed at their eagerness to see you off. I can't wait for you to see it. It's unlike anything back home. A truly vital place where anyone can be anything. Jitisimbare Armand. I don't know if I said that right, and I don't totally know what that translates to. That was something you were looking forward to, a chance to be something more. After all, Baroness Yvette de Morbeau has a certain ring to it. Before you know it, the carriage starts slowing down. You must be here. Armand arranged to meet you at the tavern named the Orphan's Feast. As tired and rumpled as you were, you're glad he planned to meet you in a place with ample food and wine. Morbeau? Am I missing? Are you thinking of Sly Morbeau, or do you know some fact about French history that you'd like to share with the class, Magnus? When you arrive, the coachman helps you to the carriage. You find yourself outside a glowing, friendly-looking tavern. The sign shows a grubby-looking child holding a plate piled high with fresh bread and roasted meats. This must be the place, or here goes nothing. Here goes nothing. Inside, a woman polishing a lantern looks up at you as you enter, and her face breaks into a bright smile. Bonjour, madame, and welcome to Orphan's Feast. Her eyes linger expectantly on the door for a moment before settling on you. Suddenly reminded of how rare it is for a woman to travel by themselves. How may I be of service, just? My first time here. Is there anything I should know to help me find my fiancé? Tutorial. Looking for my fiancé, Baron Armand de Morbeau. That's the tutorial. Don't worry. While the rest of the city can be rather cutthroat, the Orphan's Feast is a relaxed place for getting your feet under you. She puts down the lantern she was polishing. She favors you with a devious smile. Fine guests worth talking to. Try to say the right things to the right people. You'll never have time to talk to everyone, so try to use your time wisely. I'm sure if you ask around, you'll be able to find your fiancé in no time. When she puts it that way, it suddenly sounds so easy. So this, to my knowledge, is basically the crux of the game. You essentially go from party to party, building alliances and relationships. Your fashion is important, as it can sort of mention here. While you only have one outfit to your name at the moment, the Orphan's Feast doesn't feel like a particularly judgmental place in terms of fashion. Your credibility won't be shifted by what you're wearing here. So you need to sort of wear the right clothes or you'll cause a stir. And you basically go around building up alliances, relationships, and things like that. So as long as you explore the tavern and talk to people, you should be able to find Armand soon enough. So we have all of this. This is the party map. Pick someone. I have 2 turns. Let's talk to this person. While you search for Armand, a handsome young man approaches you. Perhaps you'll be able to help. So that's... Do I lose credit? -5 to 10? Is that... Oh. A fellow traveller at the nearby table, having recently acquainted with Paris himself, I should point you in the right direction, so I can potentially get a favour. Credibility. Favour. And then what about this one? A lira, so I can get money. But I potentially lose money, I think. Again, lots of peril. So I don't know what these stats do, but let's see about getting some favours. That sounds fun. You approach a man standing by himself. His wig is slightly dishevelled and he has fresh mud on his boots. Ah, bonjour, madame. You must just have arrived in Paris as well, he says affably. Where did you journey from? An idyllic farming town to the south. I'm sorry I left it behind. Nowhere significant, happier to be here. I'm actually looking for someone. Do you know where to find the Baron de Morbo? Nowhere significant. Well, madame, you are in luck. You've arrived at the most significant city in all the world. Sorry, haven't you heard of Detroit? What has brought you to this bustling metropolis? I'm here because my fiancé Armand is here. It's a hub of trade, wealth, and craftsmen where I get the lifestyle I want. Only place I can achieve the status I want. I'm after my... You travelled all the way here for your fiancé. Such love and devotion reminds me of when I was your age. His eyes have a far-off look for a moment. Never let yourself lose sight of such things. If that is why you are here, you might want to seek out those associated with the church. Love and tradition are very much on their minds. You've gained a little favour with members of the church. Don't worry, you'll meet them later. So this Armand of yours, what brought him to Paris? He's the Baron de Morbo. He's here for the Estates General. The Baron de Morbo? He pauses to think, scratching his chin. Why does that name sound so familiar? His eyes go wide for a moment before settling into an expression of discomfort. Gathering up his things, he starts preparing to leave. Sorry, madame, I simply haven't been here long enough to know about him. Okay. So I can, if I take this, I increase peril. I don't know what that does. It can't be good. And if I do this, it's a credibility challenge, but it's easy. So let's try this. Monsieur, please. You sure you can't remember anything? He sighs and looks from side to side, obviously torn on what to do. I'm sorry, madame. I must go. I have an urgent appointment, he says very brusquely. You've lost some credibility. Why did I lose credibility? He joins his wine glass, prepares to leave. Departs, leaving you with your thoughts and more questions. Choosing a room always costs a turn. Okay, so I kind of have to go here. So, now you're more acclimated to the guests and travelers, you will find someone who can lead you to Armand. After hours of questioning and searching, it's late in the evening and you've still yet to find Armand. You're not even sure why, but you feel exhausted. Really, talking to people was such hard work. I know, right? As a streamer. I've got an urgent doctor's appointment at the dentist's. Now that you've warmed up, this may be your chance to finally work out where Armand is. You approach a woman who you had spotted glancing your way earlier. Okay, none of these are all characterization. Pardon me, have you seen the... I'm looking for my fiancé Armand, have you seen him? At the mention of Armand's name, she laughs nervously. She makes small talk for a brief moment before excusing herself, disappearing into the crowd. The room appears to be emptying out. A gentleman you remember seeing earlier walks by. He might prove a little useful. Monsieur, excuse me, can you help a woman in need? Do you know a man called Armand? He looks at you, glances over at the woman you spoke to earlier, and quickens the pace as he walks by. The room is emptying out even faster now. He manages to get the attention of another woman. Excuse... She doesn't even slow down before she leaves. After a third person gives you this cold shoulder, you start to wonder what happened. Are you really there at the place? Something about Armand? What's going on here? Still, you check around the orphan's feast one last time. There's no sign of Armand, not even an open tab at the tavern's keep. After waiting around for a few hours, you leave the orphan's feast, dragging your small mountain of luggage behind you. After all, the coach was only hired to take you to the tavern. Armand may not have been waiting for you like he said he would, but you remember his address from all the times you wrote it on your letters to him. It's the middle of the night, but the street is teeming with life. The light from the windows and the street lamps sparkle like the stars. You're tired and your feet hurt, but still you can't help but smile. This is it. This is Paris. No matter what happens, you're still here. For a brief moment, you're not a country girl dragging luggage through the streets. You're the person you feel you are when you close your eyes alone. You're overseeing a grand salon, surrounded by poets, musicians, scientists, philosophers, and artists. You're elegant, sophisticated, and respected. You're getting close to the address. Armand never described his living conditions much, but he's the son of a baron. His family's very well to do, especially compared to yours. A lot of time in that carriage wondering about the new home you'd spend your new life in. Still, you didn't expect this. It's a hole in the ground. Calling this house rustic would imply you're out of the country, not on the entrance to a city. The neighbourhood is nice enough, but you're worried if you breathe too hard in the building it'll fall over. A well-kept woman in the attire of a maid opens the door and approaches you. Ah, bonjour. You must be Madame Yvette. I am Camille. Monsieur Armand told me to expect you. Merci, Camille. Please take me to Armand. I was hoping he was with you. Camille replies hesitantly. I haven't seen him in days. Thank you, Camille. Do you think he's okay? I'm sure he's fine, madame, with a tone of voice that doesn't fill you with confidence. Glancing around, she seems to notice your mountain of luggage for the first time. Mon Dieu, madame, did you carry all this yourself? You must be exhausted. That is a interesting face. She's not wrong. You're not certain how you're still upright and awake right now. I've already made up your bed, madame. Please go inside, let me take care of this. You take your diary and leave the heavy lifting to Camille. The inside of the house isn't much better than the outside. Give me the keys to place tidy, but you can only do so much, so you don't care about that right now. You're just happy to have a roof over your head. You flop down on a nearby couch, open your diary and start to write. You're tired, disappointed, and perhaps abandoned. Writing things down always helps you make sense of a situation. I got a favourite with Ludovico. I lost 10 credibility. I didn't lose any novelty. Hosted by the Baroness Anne Foy. 21st, 1789. Early the next morning, Camille approaches you, occasionally wringing her apron with her hands. She's obviously nervous. Madame, there's something you should know. Taking a deep breath, she continues. You're expected to attend a party the day after tomorrow, held by one Baron Maximin de Termes. I mean, Armand replied to the invitation, but you were to be his date. Come on, do you know anything about this Baron? I'm sorry, madame, but I don't know much. It would have been improper for me to pry into Monsieur Armand's affairs with surprising earnestness. All I know is this Baron de Termes is an outspoken political type, going on about constitutions and natural law. Monsieur Armand attended a lot of his salons, but never really looked happy when he came back from them. Hope that helps, madame. Why didn't you tell me about the invitation sooner? She looks nervously at the ground for a second, wringing her apron in her hands again. After I told you about Monsieur Armand's absence, she seemed upset that the last thing I should do was give you an obligation right after bad news. Fortunately, the bad news was yesterday. That's not how grieving works. That reminds me, if we're going to have a party, you should probably make sure you're dressed appropriately. Fashion moves so quickly here, people retire outfits before they even wear out. At this proclamation, you can't help but notice Camille's uniform has been repaired many, many times. Monsieur Armand was always going through clothes so quickly. He said every outfit had a certain amount of novelty. Every time you wore them to a party, the novelty would go down a bit. In fact, even a little thing like wearing the same outfit twice in a row could run the novelty out faster. Can you imagine? Fortunately, he knew the most delightful clothier on Rue de Faubourg Saint-Honoré. She runs a shop called Le Petit Mogul. I'll draw you some directions. She starts sketching some directions, mostly simply renderings of local landmarks. Le Petit Mogul is now available to visit in the Paris map. Apologies to any French viewers. I'm no doubt that I'm causing you great distress with this. If you headed today, you should be well prepared for the party tomorrow night. You've gained a level of exhaustion by attending a party. Any levels of exhaustion you have at the start of a party or rendezvous will give you a penalty to your credibility. Worry not, you will find ways to reduce your exhaustion soon enough. Okay, so I have that tomorrow, obviously. Huh. Oh, okay, so it just does this year. Got it, right. So I have 100 lira. Let's have a look at my wardrobe. I have the provincial outfit. I find that quite cute. And okay, so these have different stats. So crown, church, military, bourgeoisie, and revolution. Mostly military, weirdly enough. It's a calendar and a journal. So okay, this is the politics. So the majors are the crown and the revolution. So the nobility of the second state have ruled France for centuries. The current king, Louis XVI, power amid a financial crisis, which only gotten worse. Nobility's lavish lifestyles, costly wars are funded by taxes levied from the lower middle class, while they pay nothing. In the first half of the third state, the poorest commoners in France are great in numbers, lacking political power, except they have the same faction power as the crown. French movement, anti-monarchy nationalists grown in number, violent clashing revolutionaries, and the crown is all but inevitable. No, we can't. Though, interestingly, I'm noticing, right? So it mentions that the minor factions have allegiances. The bourgeoisie, for whatever reason, are aligned with the revolution, which makes no sense at all. I mean, so it mentions, oh, you know, the bourgeoisie are wealthy, but they don't have titles, so they have the majority of the tax burden, which has created some resentment. So it's not that they're aligned with the revolution, it's just that they're anti-crown. But the revolution is not in favour of the bourgeoisie either. Alright, so some people are annoyed by the privileges enjoyed by the church. The armies of France are the most powerful in Europe. Apparently they have poverty wages, so their loyalty is strained. So they're actually not very loyal to the crown, which is interesting. I wonder how much I can influence this. Can I can I like have the military join the revolution? Because we have to go with the revolution, right? So let's go explore Paris. So, the only thing I can do is go to Le Petit Mogul, run by the dressmaker Fatima Shenna. Visit the location. It's a long walk to Rue de... Yep. But the trek to the narrow street is worth it. Every block comes with a vibrant energy bursting with life. Porters and social climbers wind their way through the streets, festooned with brightly coloured parcels. Paris may be a city swimming in fashion and finery, but this is the source. She is home to all the major fashion houses in the country, and to Rose Burton, personal dressmaker to the Queen herself. She must die. Now you're back. Now you're here. Back home, they sigh and dream of places like this, then quietly get back to their little lives. Not you. Your circumstances may be less than ideal, what with a clearly, like, out of favour fiance, but they're still here. Le Petit Mogul, you mumble quietly to yourself, trying to make sure you remember the name of the shop. Eventually, you find a small boutique tucked between some far grander buildings. You open the door and walk into the tiny shop, which seems even smaller due to how full it is. It isn't just a boutique, it's a workshop for whoever works here. Rolls of gorgeous fabric cover every available surface. A cloying smoke hangs in the air. The scent is pleasant but wholly unfamiliar. As soon as the door swings shut behind you, you hear a sudden rustle of fabric further in the store. A customer? Humdala Dula. Humdinger. Surprisingly young voice calls out. Bonjour, madame. Welcome to Le Petit Mogul. A woman, presumably the owner, calls out to you. How may I help you? Oh, this is so new. What could you tell me about... What is that smell? Oh, that. That's lucky incense. I light it in slow business days. My mother gave it to me. How may I help you? This is also new. Tell me about fashion. She looks giddy to the point of bursting, but tries to play it off with a knowing smile. Deception is only half successful. I think I can help with that. So, select one of my lovely outfits, see if it's your liking. My stock changes every day, so visit often. Okay, so. The robe a la Francia. Every faction in the game prefers different kind of outfits. Dressing appropriately for the occasion makes people trust you more and increases your credibility. If you like it, purchase it. So, the revolution loves it. The bourgeois hate it. The crown hates it. The church and military are pretty in favour of it. So I guess it's just a French style dress. And there's the robe de cour, which the bourgeois love. The chemise, the Francais. Okay, so let's try and remember. So, the maid mentioned that he talked... Oh, it's being held by the revolution. Okay, so it actually tells me. Cool. I actually thought it was the other way around. I guess my fiance wasn't in favour of the revolution then. So I have 100. So let's see, what can we afford? So I can only afford these two. Neither of which are good for me. I'm guessing that's intentional. So I want to go with this one because it offends the revolution the least. Even if it looks... And that's just a good looking dress, you know. You spend some of your money, leave is about to buy outfits, pay servants and more. Make sure you always have some on hand. Okay? Did I just leave the shop now? I'm actually better off wearing the provincial outfit. This party? Why are the three row... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether or not it's a mistake or not. You wake into the vision of sunlight filtering through the shutters, scattering sunbeams across this dusty bedroom. The next few minutes before you groggy, remember the events brought you here. Let's remember tonight you have a party to attend. Camille enters your bedroom, already full of cheer. Madame, when would you like to start getting ready? It's important as you make it seem I should start preparing now. Preparations always seem to take all day. On days we have a party, you won't really have time to spend exploring Paris. Once you go to your wardrobe, we can get started. I nearly done anything. I guess it's something I should know. Don't worry, madame. A glamorous woman like yourself sure to catch on quickly. Click here to go to the wardrobe. It is a humble salon concerning the ills plaguing our great nation. Hope you still remember this event. Being held by the revolution. They like robes a la Francais. Sometimes they like robes de cour and humble cargos and skirt. It says they do like it, but that's -1. I mean, I'll wear it. I had to buy it. We'll see what happens. When your carriage drops you off at the party, you find yourself waiting in line for quite some time. Looking at the other guests, you wonder if you're underdressed or overdressed. It's hard to tell. You look over yourself one last time and confirm you're wearing your robe a la Francier to a party being held by the revolution. My credibility has gone down. They have no strong feelings in your outfit, your credibility's not changed much. So I guess that would have happened regardless, because like it wasn't a strong positive. With preparations like this, the results of tonight could be a toss-up. Determining you're standing in the world of fashion, you manage to overhear an interesting rumour while online. You make a mental note of it just in case. You gained a piece of cheap revolution gossip. This will be useful later. Unfortunately, you can feel exhaustion set in as soon as you think of the full itinerary ahead of you. Tonight's going to be a long night. Being exhausted has given you credibility. I don't even have any credibility. Immediately upon entering the vestibule, you're greeted by a doorman holding a small ledger. He isn't physically barring your entry, his manner certainly is. Name, madame? He asks expectantly. I would probably... Baron Armand de Morbo? Baron de Morbo? Why are you dressed... A moment later he composes himself. I see, you're the Baron's date. My apologies. Is there anything I can get you? Would you be able to take this gift of wine to our host? What's this? This choice will cost some money. Sure. With a small flourish, you present a bottle of wine you had the forethought to bring earlier. It wasn't cheap, but the gesture is more important. Ah, merci beaucoup, madame. I shall make sure the Baron is aware of your generosity. Turning from you, the doorman waves imperiously to another servant nearby who takes the bottle from you. After that, the servant dutifully scurries away. You spent 10 livres. You hear some appreciative mutters from other guests in the vestibule. Your gratitude and enthusiasm made an impression on them, eliminating some of the tension in the air. Surprisingly, the doorman himself seems rather unfazed. You've lost a tiny amount of power and gained a tiny amount of credibility. The more credibility you have, the easier it is to deceive someone during a credibility check. So I guess the idea is basically they still trust you at your word. Before you can ask any other questions, he bows deeply to you. Pardons-moi, madame. Baron de Termes has instructed me specifically to inform him as soon as you had arrived. We've heard so much about you. Enjoy the party, he says with a smile before leaving. I feel like I'm about to get a revolutionary handshake already. Okay. So I have 2 turns. I wonder why the Baron's interest, or the host is interested. Seems fascinated by the host of the party, Baron Maxim de Termes. I can lose credibility, gain power. I appreciate that it tells me what I can get here. 2 guests are clearly looking at someone else. Apparently a new revolutionary figure has arisen in Paris. One's winning quite a bit of favour among the radical elements. Might be able to meet such a person later. I can get some cheap church gossip. My phone keeps going off. No one's saying anything in particular. Let's go talk to the radical. Actually, no. She's fascinated with the host. Let's go talk to her. And hopefully we can find out some information that we can maybe use against our Baron host. You're virtually only standing by herself, looking around the party, and just seems extremely pleased to be here. Isn't this magnificent? She beams so many revolutionary minds in one place, all brought together by one man. How do you know our host, Baron Maxim de Termes? She asks. We simply keep running into each other at various salons and readings. Easy credibility challenge. This is quite embarrassing. I don't know much about our host. Could you tell me more? It appears nothing would please her more. Oh, Baron Maxim de Termes is cut apart from the rest of the nobility, whose salon sponsors pamphlet printings associated with our heroes who fought in the American War for Independence. Clasps her hand again and gazes off into the distance. The Estates General hasn't even convened yet. He's already expressed his support for the Third Estate and a new enlightened France. Of course, he's made a few enemies. The Baron has already had to denounce some of his associates who are not properly embodying revolutionary ideas. Reputation's only thrived because of his bravery. Isn't he wonderful? A Baron rejecting the very system that benefits him sounds like a man of principle. He's a political hobbyist who advances himself by condemning others. Let's play it safe. He most certainly is. Yet I think her interest in the Baron strays beyond the strictly ideological, but that's none of your business. You two talk and joke for a while, eventually part ways. If you get a chance to speak with the Baron de Termes, you're absolutely certain to have a lot to talk about. And now, a man in the sober colours of revolution worked towards you, stopping occasionally to shake hands with various like-minded people. You can surmise that this is the Baron de Termes, the man who invited you and Armand here. Out of the corner of your eye, you notice a tall, thin man dressed in sombre, serious colours. The way people are clustered around him, you get the impression he's quite important. He gets up from his current conversation, politely excuses himself, and approaches you. This man's moustache is just appalling. His eyebrows is like, Jesus. Ah, you must be the Madame Ducot. I'm not sure if Armand spoke of me, but I am Baron Maxim de Termes. Right as he focuses attention, you can feel everyone in the room watching you out of the corners of their eye. His opinion must carry a great deal of weight. But please, let us dispense with titles. You may call me Maximum. The crowd chuckles and you can't help but be surprised by this noble's informality. Be downright scandalous in any other circle. The conversations in the various corners of the room die down as people strain to hear your exchange with Maximum. It's great to meet the woman our man spoke so much of. He said more about you he did about the state of the nation. You know how much he loves that. Maxim smiles and offers a knowing wink. Now that I've seen you, I can see why he has such muddled priorities. You've gained a little credibility. Nice. Too bad I only technically have like +3 because of this exhaustion. In fact, you may both find these useful. He grabs a jumbled stack of political pamphlets off his desk and hands them to you. The discourse moves so rapidly after all hit for you two if you'd have trouble keeping up. A few voices in the crowd murmur in approval. Maximum pauses, his eyes sweeping the room for a moment. But please, I must trouble you with a question of my own. I've been told that Armand is unable to join us tonight. What has delayed him? I'm going to be honest, I actually don't know Maximum. I don't even know where he is. You've lost him? Maximum asked, a sudden note of confusion marking his features, and you came here? With a flood of realization, he laughs. Oh, but of course, just here at the salon to find my salon to find your Armand. Thought you were here for our enlightened discourse, but no, this makes much more sense. Your loyalty to Armand is commendable, and exactly the sort of thing we've been striving to bring to this troubled nation of ours. A small cheer goes up from some of the crowd. You've gained a little credibility. Hey! Of course, it's a shame your loyalty is accurate to such mediocrity, but still. If he's lost, that means we no longer have to entertain his traitorous ideas. If he's so mediocre, why did you invite him? I invited your dullard fiancé in order to denounce him and his views. People like himself should not waste their time clouding discussions with their dangerous ignorance. Better served by repeating the words of their most revolutionary peers. He's a prick. You've lost a little credibility. Maxim narrows his eyes till the barely once slits. In fact, you can practice his virtue now and make sure he hears this should you manage to find him. His wild and unseemly ideas make him an enemy of the revolution, enemy of the common people of France, and an enemy of mine. And he can do for his miserable views to take you in return to the backwards obscurity from whence he came. And I've lost. Wow. Maxim's voice drops low to a growl barely above voice. Before you speak, I already know what you're thinking. You somehow don't deserve this. You're wrong. Our associations reflect our character. You've chosen to associate yourself with a dangerous bore, drags at the heels of true progress in France. Only assume you're a craven opportunist who thought marrying into a title would provide an easy path above her peers. Life would be easy if you found the right person to latch on to, like a barnacle or a leech. You're a fool for believing that, and he's a fool for loving you. What the fuck? I just got this credibility. Titles don't elevate us above consequences. Now leave my house and never return. What the good goddamn fuck? Also, yeah, what a fucking champagne socialist here. It's like, marrying into titles just puts you, you're not above people. Now I'm going to have my servants drag you out. Before you can reply, a valet guards you roughly by the arm, drags you from the study. You're like your loathsome host. Don't need to do things their own dirty work. They have servants for it. Takes far longer than you'd like to get outside. As the entry's credit with guests preparing to leave, you feel their eyes weighing heavily on you. You finally get to the door, you feel a brutish shove, you stumble out into the courtyard, barely keeping your balance in your heels. Air is equally crowded with various persons entering their personal carriages. You hear somebody snicker, but no idea who it was. Only thing left to do is go home. Some big talk about titles from a man who can't do his own dirty work. Boiling over with anger, you turn and rain insults on the house. In fact, you consider throwing your shoe through a window before you remember how much you like the shoe. So you know several carriages have stopped just to watch your display. Scanning the faces of your new audience, you find the glaring unamused faces of the various party guests. You're certain your hatred of Maxim, the revolution, everything else he stands for is going to be well known throughout the city soon enough. Lost favour with the revolution, gained favour with the crown, and you'll meet these people later. I don't care. He's a prick. You graze the voyeurs with a haughty sneer before leaving towards your own carriage. When you arrive at the place your carriage is parked, you find quickly it isn't. It's gone. You have to make sure you're in the right place with no avail. The carriage you hired is simply not there. You went home, a questing coachman said helpfully, adjusting the harness on a particularly grumpy horse. Dorman came out about an hour ago, told him you wanted the coach to leave without you. Seemed real important, so he went home. Before you can even respond, he gets his own carriage moving, leaving you with yet another indignity. Walking back to Maximum was obviously unacceptable. It's too far to walk home. Most guests have already left. There appears to be 3 other carriages waiting to leave, each quite different. Perhaps one can help. Humble, bold, or extravagant. Humble. The carriage to the left of you is a foreign design, features a gilded crest only ornamentation. It's emblazoned with a motto and lantern. Appears to be a priest of some description. The curtains are drawn, but someone appears to have lit a lantern instead. Bloody hell. Judging by the occupant's silhouette, it looks like he's reading. You consider the humble carriage room. Is this who you'd like to ride with? I appreciate you willing to help a poorless woman like myself. Let's go. Settling in your decision, you set out ready to entrust your fortune to a modest stranger. I mean, the crown likes me, and the priests like the crown, so... You reach out and knock on the door of the carriage. The silhouetted figure jumps in surprise. Who is it? Father, my name is Yvette Decamp. I'm a common woman in need. Oh my, the voice behind the door calls out. After some fumbling, he parts the curtains on the carriage windows. Oh, hello. Hello, Madame Decamp. Don't worry, I'm sure there's something I can do for you. Let me help you. May I trouble you for a ride home? My coachman was tricked into leaving without me. My carriage is gone, there's no way I walked on these heels. Let's just be polite. For the first time today, see someone look at you with genuine concern. How terrible. Please come aboard. There's no trouble at all. He puts down his book and waves you inside. The inside of the carriage is very similar to the outside. It's simple but lovingly crafted. Father Siddharthi sits across from you, his eyes darting between you and the small stack of books in the seat next to him. He signals the coachman by tapping the ceiling of the carriage, and you head off towards Paris. He stares at you a while and almost starts talking before thinking better of it. The process repeats a few times before he finally speaks. Excuse me. May I ask what happened? It appears that Parisians have a different way of entertaining their party guests. Looking for my missing fiancé, turns out this party was held by one of his enemies. I imagine Saint Sebastian, but with insults instead of arrows. That's Sam looking for a fiancé. What a worrying turn of events. A missing fiancé, sudden enemies, now a missing carriage. Seems you've been beset by quite the number of misfortunes. I'm guessing then that you must be the only one I've heard. I'm guessing then that you must be the one I've heard about. I'm sorry our host felt it acceptable to treat you so poorly. Are you alright? I get the impression you're not from Paris. What brings you here? I'm not happy with what happened, but I'll be alright. Resilience is good, he replies, trailing off for a moment. Make sure you give yourself time to rest. Even the most minor of injuries can wear on the soul if left uncared for. Eventually the conversation dies down. The adrenaline rush to the night's disasters and dignity giving way to simple exhaustion. Father Siddharthi settles into his books and you occupy yourself with watching the scenery go by and trying not to fall asleep. The carriage stops and the coachman opens the door. As you step down into the street, Father Siddharthi leans out of the carriage to look at your home. Ah, I see you've chosen to live humbly. It's good for the soul, he lives without muses aloud. You've gained a little favourite with Ludovico. Till we meet again, madame, he calls cheerily. Your carriage drives off in the night. You realize Camille is waiting for you at the door. Who is that? A most intriguing young priest. A nice man doing the Lord's work. Step inside and head upstairs, your mind still reeling from the night's events. You get undressed and open your journal to record exactly what transpired tonight. A book salesman was recently arrested for printing profane criticism of the royal family. Is it punishment for vulgar slander or repression of unnecessary criticism? So I lost 2 favour with Antoine. So that's the revolution. I gained 2 with the crown, Elizabeth. I gained 1 with Ludovico. I lost 3 peril. I lost 10. I fucking spent money on him. I lost credibility, and then the novelty has gone down on my dress. Okay. Chapter 1. Establishing oneself. So I might just assume that, like, the fiance's gone. Like, do I do nothing to try and find him? I mean, I was originally going to say that if he was in favour of the revolution, then he may have been picked up by the king. What's the over-under that made this part of the revolution? I don't think so. Because like she mentioned how, you know, Armand didn't seem happy coming back from the different like political salons that the Baron held, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm guessing that my fiance wasn't a revolutionary, which isn't the impression I got from how Yvette sort of advertises him. So I don't know. Maybe the revolutions have got him, or maybe he's just run. You awaken. Maybe I'm just being catfished, like, you know, revolutionary catfish. You awaken the next morning and the bed still feels unfamiliar. In the process of waking up, you start to recall last night's humiliations and wish they're merely the product of your fitful dreams. Unable to go back to sleep, you spend some time tossing and turning in bed before finally sitting up. Nothing's going to make last night go away. The only option to decide what to do next. You feel exhausted, not physically but in your very soul. Like your fate and part has already been decided, that remain here would be pointless. It would just be the humiliations of last night over and over again. However, stronger than the exhaustion is the simmering rage you feel, at the outrageousness of your circumstances, at the injustice of your treatment, the thought of going back to your tiny village after finally making it here to Paris. You must not go back. You cannot go back. Not while a single candle of your ambition still burns. Camille pops into your room, already dressed and ready for the day. Bonjour, madame. Looks like quite an active night. Is there anything I can get you? Please find a spare pillow, it would smother me. Not sure, do you know how to make a murder look like an accident? Unfortunately, madame, the only thing I've killed are rats, fish, chickens, and 1 porcupine. Those didn't look very accidental either. I don't think I'll be able to help you with a murder. Then what use are you, Camille? Want me to clean up after a murder? That I could do. Still, I can't leave start your morning without something to drink. It wouldn't be healthy. What can I get you, madame? Tea or wine? Let's get tea. I'll need to keep my wits about me. She returns so quickly with tea, you're certain she made it ahead of time. Piping hot, fragrant, not too bitter. Drink the brew in silence, the gears in your mind slowly getting up to speed. The tiredness fades, your anger does not. You've gained a little credibility. How? You take a few moments to finish your drink in silence, collect your thoughts. Something keeps coming to mind as all the gossip you heard during your time at the party. Most of it was idle prattle, but some of it scandalous and valuable. Without an inheritance or job, you need to find a way to make money. Maybe someone will be willing to buy the gossip. Is that a thing people do? Camille taps her chin thoughtfully. Well, when I was at Liz Hall's the other day, someone mentioned something about a newspaper with these amazing society pages. I think it was called Le Trompette du People. Le Trompette du People is now available to, I'm assuming, to treat the people's trumpet. Or trumpet of the people. They'd have to get the sources somewhere, why not you? But I think you'd be great at that, madame. Merci, Camille. I think I'll do just that. I've gone from baroness to bee to gossip monger. With that, your day begins. The people's trumpet, really. Yeah. Should I not rest? Okay, so I've met... So, Ludovico Sidati. Recently sent to Paris by Spears and Holmes to observe the events unfolding in Paris and give his assessment what the church should do next. Bookish and shy, they're nonetheless charming and eager for excitement. So I'm guessing he's one of the people that you can smooch. None of that's changed. So it's fresh, it's a day old. Okay. So I'm gonna make 30 livres, knowing that somebody got arrested. A popular, if unscrupulous newspaper. Spend the day here to sell gossip, manipulate public opinion, update your knowledge of the political facts in Paris. Interesting. That is interesting, actually. So obviously I don't have, like, all the information is up to date. So, like, a faction could start, like, changing loyalty and I wouldn't know. That's interesting. You walk through the city following Camille's directions. Eventually you find yourself threading through narrower and narrower streets. The alleys packed with refuse and the occasional vagrant napping in the shade feels almost oppressive in their closeness. Suddenly, the alleys open up to a wider street near a square, with a splashing of a fountain nearby. You finally find the sign for La Trompette du People. Oh, excuse me. Oh, literally got out of bed to stream. The paint appears to be fresh, but the office seems awfully small. The door is locked, so you give it a knock. Nobody answers. Looking around, you find a hastily written note lodged in the door frame. It reads, "Office temporarily closed, engaging in emergency fundraising efforts. We apologise for the inconvenience. Management. Fear not the setback. The light of journalism shall never fade." It's at that moment that the splashing is getting louder, accompanied by some of the most inventive profanity you've ever heard. Against your better judgment, you decide to investigate. Aha! A reedy voice shines triumphantly. You come upon a man in grubby finery, up to his knees in the fountain. Shoes have been carefully placed at the water's edge. He does little jigs, he drops a wet coin. Oh my god. This is the fundraising as he's robbing the fucking fountain. There's a little jig as he drops a wet coin into a snuff box, which closed tightly in his other hand. Noticing your presence, the man in the fountain turns to you with a nod and a smile tends to be ingratiating. Bonjour, madame. Are you Pierre? You serious? This is your emergency fundraising? The smile sours and marches out of the fountain. I shall have you know that fundraising is far more difficult than it appears. Even the most noble of men must occasionally stoop low to accomplish great things. What do you want? If I wanted to sell some gossip, how would that work? A devious smile crosses his face. New to this, are you? Don't worry, it's much easier than you think. This list shows all the pieces of gossip you have at the moment. Click one of them. The gossip is determined by its tier and its freshness, but also has an effect. If you peddle influence, I'll take the gossip for free. Use that effect to change the standing of a faction. Right now you need the money, so click on sell gossip. Okay, so I can make the revolution more or less strong. Or I can get money for it. There should be no chance of the public finding out. Okay? When you're ready, click here to leave. You always come back at a later time. Wait a minute, that was an entire day? And I haven't lost any exhaustion. Okay. You wake up the next morning to a polite knock on your bedroom's door frame. 3 letters, a small armload of letters. Madame. Camille starts, both confused and hesitant. There's a lot of letters for you here. Are they for me or are they for Armand? They're for you, madame. Every single one. Are these party invitations? Why would anyone invite me to a party? Oh, madame, you're a little famous right now. Everyone's heard about your run-in with that dreadful party host a few days ago. How they preyed upon your honour and spirited away your carriage driver, leaving you trapped and alone. You think it's exactly how it happened, but the Cytic gets fretting against the details. She starts to talk faster and faster. Then when all is lost, you sit by a beautiful stranger who escorted you home in the moonlight. It's so romantic, no? The room is already running rampant. Just in the market today, I heard someone you've taken a liking to. Camille stops, stares in space and blows. Never mind that. Never mind what? It's just rumours from the marketplace, madame, nothing you should dignify. In case you trust me, people said he don't hate you, or Monsieur Armand. These many party invitations. I receive party invitations from all over Paris. In fact, I'm sure anyone who really judges you fairly is going to love you. It's all well and good. How does this work? Don't worry, madame, it's quite simple. Monsieur Minuet requests the attendance of the Madame Yvette de Cow to his choir recital on 26th of March. Intimate party is sure to be the very height of cheerful gaiety. You have a level of exhaustion. Accepting now gives you credibility. Ignoring loses credibility, and you will receive church gossip. Okay. So that's on the 26th. What day is today? Oh, this is the noble? Oh, bourgeois. Could be fun to go to the... That's the 29th. That's the royals. That's the revolution. Request the attendance of the infamous Madame Yvette. Why would I go to the revolution's party? And one for the military. The military ball. Just everyone wants me to go. Okay, well... Okay, so the only one I have to pick between is the royal or the revolution. Declining to attend a party the same day you receive the invitation gives you a small bonus to credibility. Interesting. Alright, chat. So we're gonna go to all the parties. Here's what we need to decide. Do we go to the revolution's party or do we go to the monarch's party? I like the idea of siding with the revolution because that sounds interesting. If you see something called Arno, don't. Ah, God, you're right. I like the idea of siding with the revolution because I think that's the most interesting. However, fuck the revolution right now. So what do we think, chat? In the meantime, I guess I'll accept. Oh, it's only ignoring the invitation costs you credibility. Oh, okay, that's good. Not just declining them. The revolution hasn't even started properly, so why go there? Well, I mean, the revolution is kind of fermenting and bubbling, so, you know. Plus, the idea of going to an opera is just kind of, ugh. It seems like you're thinking go to the Royal Ball. Isn't an opera how Black Flag started? And yes, the Royals. Okay. Honestly, probably. Alright, fine. We'll go join. The Duc de Harcourt. So yeah. This is definitely going to get me shot in a couple months. Or guillotined, probably. Alright, well, I should probably... Let's have a look at my wardrobe. Does the church like... No, the church doesn't like that robe. I only have 92. I have no way of making money till I go to this party. Can I afford a dress? What the heck? The Grand Taverne de Londres. The Parc Monceau. Rumour mongers. Providing for the poor. Let's go to rumour mongers. Cheap bourgeois gossip. Oh, lots of potential gossip. Some choice gossip. During one of your explorations of the city, you find yourself in a fountain square. Groups of people are clustered together, locked in a kind of deep yet carefree conversation that make you wonder what exactly these people do all day. You wonder yourself if any of these idle malingerers have jobs. Do you remember that you too share a similar ill-earned and decadent lifestyle? Still, you have mountains of extenuating circumstances brought you to this point. What are their excuses? After you do shame. You break from your increasingly venomous internal accusations. You hear a familiar name mentioned by someone nearby. I take it you used to work for Pierre Rondeau as well. I used to sell gossip to that self-important drunk. After all, he used to be the only game in town. Frankly, I'm glad to be free of that slimy weasel. You would, of course, rush to Pierre's defence if all those accusations weren't so true. Now I sell what I find a more reputable clientele. Anything juicy lately? I myself heard the most fascinating things about a certain general in the military. The older man puts out his hand for the other stuff. What are you doing? Why exactly would I share anything I learned with you? We're competitors. His new compatriot chuckles. Are we? After all, we have to do is share the gospel between ourselves, sell all the different newspapers the same day, make twice the money. I suppose that does make sense. I did learn something shocking about a prominent lawyer today. I'll listen to both. For peril. Adopting your best, most favorite expression, you pretend to be utterly fascinated by some flower blooming nearby. Two of them pay you no mind as you approach and crouch low, listening to their exchange. Two can anyway whisper back and forth, and your keen hearing minds produce all the relevant details. This will be valuable indeed. Some cheap military gossip, and some cheap bourgeois gossip. So you got everything you need, you put up your hood, start to slink away. You feel one of them glaring suspiciously at your back, but neither of the fools can prove a thing. While Paris decisions of to get what you want, the peril bar fills up. Something unfortunate will happen to you. Be careful how much you take on. I wonder if it'll end the game or it'll just be like an event. Almost later, you're already free of them, heading home down to Johnson's valuable notes. A successful day, all in all. Next morning, you wake up from a long night rest, feeling pretty much the same as you did last night. Now you think about it, you feel tired since a powerful party a few days ago. Bonjour, madame. You look unwell. It's a little rude to say that out loud, but you're right. Nicely spotted, Camille. I also feel unwell. Don't worry, the sort of thing that used to happen to Monsieur Armand all the time. That all the parties forget you needed the rest. Always the sort of person who burned the can to both ends. In fact, we're both often guilty of this. One of the reasons you got along so well. More parties he attended, the more exhausted thing he was, made things harder and harder. Remember, madame, spend a day outside. You can always rest at home for a day to recover your strength. Nothing wrong with taking a break. Home is not available. You think you'll be staying in tonight? Can I see my calendar? Not tonight. I have too many things to do. If you insist, madame. The party's tomorrow. Well, I'm not going to be able to get a new dress. That's annoying. I should have rested. Shit. Actually, can I still rest if I just pick home? Music to your ears, the maid and the anchor. Home. Yeah. I'm not going to be able to buy a new dress. The rumors aren't going to be as choice, but it's whatever. I should get some more from this party tonight. Take the day off, spend some time at home resting and recuperating. Spend the day and taking care of yourself doing light reading. You feel recharged. The exhaustion affecting you before has passed. Oh, so it gets rid of all your levels. That's good. With that complete, you turn your focus to the other matters to manage your attention. So it's good to know that it gets rid of all your exhaustion, so you don't have to like spend 2 days resting. Right. So after this, I need to go and get a bourgeois dress. Oh, right, sorry, go to the party. It's being held by the church. They like provincial dresses. Sometimes they're like cargo ensembles and humble cargos and skirts. Well, I only have this, so I don't like that, so. As you carry to this party, consider taking one last moment to assess your preparations. Check tiny mirror to keep in see wearing your provincial outfit to a party held by the church. They have no strong feelings and your credibility is not changed. Could be a toss-up. You step down out of your carriage and hear the ripples of whispers signaling your arrival to any social event these days. There's a small line in the vestibule as guests are waiting to let in. While standing in the line, you might overhear an interesting rumour. You make a mental note of it just in case. Cheap church gossip. You're neither well rested nor exhausted. Nothing's holding you back from doing your best in this game of wits. Also, I guess I can rest again and get bonuses. Everything seems to be in order. Please take this gift of wine. No, I don't. I need the money right now. No, to her into the party. She curtsies as you pass her by and enter the party. Let the games begin. Let's see. I was gonna say this is meant to be a choir thing. Some guests spilled their drink, and surely apologies in order for such a glaring misstep. No, I can gain credit. Okay, that's just credibility and. Oh, gossip. Shocking bourgeois gossip. Oh my, I might get money out of it. Like it was an unusual game of the host. A strange game must be conducted in secret, but also uniquely suited to your sort of talents. Lots of gossip too. Jesus, that's a lot of potential gossip. Let's do that. Your latest conversation taking place in a rather gaudy chapel, separated from the rest of the guests. Bathed in the light of a vault of candles, you're speaking to one who apparently knows quite a bit about the party's host. Any gossip you might take over will clearly concern the church, even if it's on the cheaper side, it's still valuable. Suddenly a man approaches to you, speaking in a jarringly loud volume. Good afternoon, mesdames. Did you finally enjoy the chapel I donated the funds for? Lovely piece of architecture. Well, I felt piety is best expressed with marble and gilt. It's quite generous of you, she replies, taken aback by sudden appearance to your conversation. So one of the pride you see him inhaling, preparing will be a flood of words. My friend was still speaking with her. A medium credibility. I've got 25? Let's take the risk. Really, you think he'd enjoy this? Oh, by all means, madame, he nods at the woman, almost puzzled. Someone else could contribute something to a conversation. Also, I didn't realise that right-clicking also went forward. So, merci beaucoup, she nods to you. You see us getting to the best part. You've gained a piece of cheap church gossip. With your valuable invitation to change, you sit back and listen to her flood the both of you to deluge you with relevant stories how important he is to the local parish. Never told that humility was a virtue, or that silence was golden. You know there's no end to his self-aggrandisements. First opening, you leave as fast as your feet will carry you. Who's the host of this party again? Obviously, person seems to desire something concerning the host, but only with those who know the host well. You might not, but when has that triviality ever stopped you? Whereas woman interviewing a man for sake of a book something doesn't seem quite right about his outrageous claims. Could cost me credibility I don't fucking have. A jilted gentleman was sought out your company who has quite the grudge to settle. Firmly held grudges often leave to loose tongues. Couple in the section seems to be up to brim with gossip secrets. Something that's telling might take convincing. Hidden truths could be valuable. Let's do this one. I'm sure there's probably like best choices, but I'm not sure what they are yet. I'm not sure what I should really be focusing on. All I know is I'm going to need more money to buy a new dress. You step back into the vestibule for a moment so you can collect your thoughts and get the first opportunity to speak with any new arrivals to the party. It's then you see two individuals speaking together in a corner. The fact you're trying to stay away from everyone only increases your interest in the conversation. You recognise neither the respectable woman nor the extravagantly dressed gentleman that she's speaking with. Judging from the fact she pauses to write whatever he speaks, you can surmise she's interviewing him. It becomes apparent for your spine that these people are Nika Ikov, a foreign author looking for inspiration for her latest novel, as well as Gulaman de Sabal, a self-styled libertine philosopher, an appellation that doesn't seem to require much in the way of academic credentials. You described yourself earlier as a patron of the arts. What is your relationship with theatre? Have you sponsored any performances? I'm no mere tight-fisted patron, good madame. I'm an inspirational muse, if you will. In fact, when Bumacaris wrote The Barber of Seville, I was his inspiration for Count Dalmavia. The sharply dressed man proudly replies between long gulps of wine. From what you remember of that play, that's not something to be particularly proud of. It also doesn't even sound vaguely true. This would be fantastic for my book, monsieur. I must ask, how did you and the monsieur meet? We met at a banquet held by a visiting Algonquian prince. Sorry, did you say an Algonquian prince? He came across the ocean from the Americas, held a banquet? The author replies, far more suspicious of this claim. Glances to you and raises an eyebrow. He knows his game is almost up. I know far too much to take aside whatever this business is. What do you reckon? Should I out him, side with him, or just be like, I'm not getting fucking involved with this? What do we think, chat? You want me to out him? But then I have to get Peril. Fine. Man, McCall, it sounds like because it never happened. This is just a fable. Curses! Goleman says with a sneer, shooting you a nasty look. You have gained a little Peril. You're simply no fun at all, madame. He continues shaking his head. Discuss family entertainment elsewhere then. Monsieur de Sable drains his wineglass, storms away with a sour look on his face. Might seem unpleasant, doesn't mean he's gonna that you have some decent gossip, given you caught a prominent figure in the bourgeoisie, fragrantly lying about his accomplishments. Cheap, oh come on, it had to be cheap. A few seconds, madame gives you a slow courtesy. Merci, madame. That may seem important to most, but my research this novel is very important to me. I appreciate you care enough to stop someone from filling it with outlandish falsehoods. You gain some credibility. Hey! With that she leaves, you examine the rest of the party. Perhaps she'll find another opportunity out there amongst the crowds. The choir is led up by Monsieur Mariette. I've got cheap. Okay, so let's see. A bishop is called for the censorship of an opera critical of the church. The king has signalled his assent, but has taken weeks to make a pronouncement. Is the king taking the quest seriously or ignoring it? And then some representatives of the third estate have gotten free rooms to stand for a prominent hoteler. However, they've been staying a long time as a sign of friendship, or they're taking advantage of their host. Alright. We'll go sell all of our gossip, then we'll go to the dress shop. Oh. The 31st of Mars. Do I want to go to another church? I would still have... I'm going to decline to give myself... Because the fact that these two are at the same time makes me think this is going to be like a story mission. So I want to have time to, like, you know, get funds, get dresses, things like that. So I need to go talk to him. I may lose or gain credibility. So is there going to be an event associated with this? Pierre's office either looks marginally cleaner before his managed to shuffle a mess in different shaped piles. It's hard to tell. It's been a few moments waiting around the entryway before Pierre arrives. He seems quite enthused by your presence. If it isn't my newest confidant, please come in. Have you come back with more delicious information, or perhaps are you trying to find someone? No. Where is Armand? How do you know I'm looking for him? Madame, my suspicions about your search were founded in your newfound notoriety. Suspicions which you've been so kind as to confirm for me. If Pierre favours you with a short and elegant bow, merci beaucoup. I have lost credibility. As for your fancies were about, I don't know his exact address, or I would have to be I would probably be a wealthier man by now. However, I happen to have some leads. I can already say I'll already like you more than some of the men looking for him. But before I let my terms, I must satisfy my own professional curiosity. How well do you really know your beloved Armand? It's early February. Take a seat in your usual spot in this. I don't know how to say that. How do I say that? Come forth, Google Translate. So it's the word CYG. The Swan. Cygne. There we go. It is Le Cygne, a small tavern in your hometown. The hood of your cloak is still up. It's less to do with the snow outside, more to do with the fact you don't want to talk to anyone else here. Minuet are trying to read your book, but failing to really get into it. You hear footsteps approaching your table. Bonjour, Yvette. I hope you weren't waiting too long. It's not polite to keep a lady waiting. Je suis désolé, mon chéri. It's taking so much longer to get my affairs in order than I thought. Already spoiling our last night. Armand, please, I was only kidding. Armand gives an audible sigh of relief. Well, he usually just cares about keeping his appointments. He's rarely let something like this get to him. Sorry, it's just, you see, it's general is important. So are you. I'm packing and writing letters night and day in order to get ready, but all the time I spend this time is not spending with you. Pauses, takes a deep breath. Enough of that. I want to feel sorry for myself. I can do it in the carriage to Paris. That is for making sweet memories. He waves to barmaid, I'm assuming that should be the, or a, who brings you a bottle of wine and some glass. Long to look for freshly baked bread, still steaming when it touches the table. Armand fills your glass first. My father's been talking my ear off about this particular vintage. Hope it's up to your standards. He fills his own, raises a glass to a toast. To France, to the General Assembly, but most importantly to us. The red wine is deep and full bodied. It smells of leather, blackberry and cloves. Some of the best you've had, and you can tell Armand is enjoying it as well. You spend an hour finishing the bottle together, pausing occasionally to nibble at the bread. All the while you trade jokes, news from around the village, or simply try to forget this has lost us to see each other for months. With the wine finished, Armand pauses to place the bottle on its side. We're curious how he picked up from his father. He then takes a deep breath and waits a moment for saying, "The snow appears to have stopped. Would you like to join me outside? I have something I want to show you. It's my penis." Outside, the night air is brisk, even the colours of the moonlit sky are cold. The stark contrast in the fireside warmth of the tavern, despite the open air, feels more intimate and personal in the small tavern you left behind. While I like Le Cygne as much as the next man, we're going to end our night with something that's just about us, he says in a low, soft voice. There's all his elbow to grab onto. Care for a walk? I'd love to. You step in close to him, wrapping your arm around his, before you both wander off into the moonlit night. You gain some favour with Armand. That I think I can do. You walk along the edge of a lake, the only sound being the whispers of the wind and the sounds of your footfalls and the steady rhythm of each other's breath. Your head leans on his shoulder. His body feels warm and familiar. The moon is full, the time distant. You're only two people in the entire world. Without a word, he leans in towards you, his eyes closed. Kiss him. I guess I can basically establish whether or not I actually love him, essentially. Your lips meet his and a joyful shiver runs through your body. His hand comes up to stroke the side of your face as your arms hug you close. Not sure how long your kiss lasts. Time seems to have lost some of its importance. But you pull away from each other and stare into his eyes, face a mixture of excitement and surprise. I hope every kiss we have is as good as that one. You've gained favour with him. He breathes deep, preparing for his next words. It's then a man stumbles out of the darkness towards you, glancing about himself and trying to catch his breath. Armand, I've been looking everywhere for you, he whispers hoarsely. His accent is foreign, wholly unfamiliar. Oh, no, he's in French, nor is English. Your town is relatively small, you don't recognise this man. Silent. Charles, what a surprise. Armand starts, his voice flat and tense. Our man, things are changing faster we could have imagined, the man called Charles says, hurriedly pressing a small satchel into Armand's hands. The dim light you might notice a few papers sticking out the top of his bag. We all knew tensions were going to keep rising after Bishop Bonteville killed himself, but this... Charles, Armand presses at a louder volume, glancing towards you. Armand, I know this is hard, but France itself is at stake here. Charles continues, oblivious to your presence. We helped guarantee your election for our... bailliage? So you could do this for us. You said yourself we must. What's a bailliage? A bailout. Okay, I don't know what that is either. Charles! Armand barks sharply and suddenly. Even the crickets and birds go silent. Breathing deeply, Armand composes himself. Gesturing director, Charles, have you met my fiancée, Yvette de Cal? There's no last night together before I left to prepare for the Estates General. Charles' eyes widen and he seemingly notices you for the first time. Hello, madame. Just giving your fiancé some important facts you forgot at home. Please excuse my intrusion. Bonne nuit. With that, Charles leaves. You and Armand stare at each other silently for over a minute. Care to explain who that was? That was Charles. I used to buy books from him by letter. A few months ago we started a true correspondence between myself and some associates. We've been discussing politics. We share a lot of ideas in common. What ideas are those? Modernity, monarchy, what France needs to succeed in a changing world. Says almost automatically, before looking away and blushing for a moment. His breath mists in the cold air and he stares out across the still waters of the lake. I know this isn't the whole answer of what you want to hear. I need you to trust me, Yvette, please. His voice is serious, grave, pained. France is changing. That cannot be stopped. It's up to us to make sure it changes for the better. See, when you phrase it like that, he sounds like a revolutionary. But I'm now thinking, is he like a counter-revolutionary? Like, is he trying to like temper the revolution to be somewhat still monarchist? I don't know. You're staring at you. Must have gotten lost in your thoughts for a moment. Madame, I was asked how well do you know your fiancé? Perhaps I don't know him as well as I thought. He's actually Napoleon. Oh shit, oh fuck. You know what you're confused from and almost look sympathetic. Well, madame, perhaps it's time you learned as much as you can, which is something I can help you with. I'm looking to run a new social piece so they can capture the imagination of the public. PR fears you with broad to the green. Let's rekindle some old rivalry, so to speak. After all, it's easier to sell newspapers, so there's something to write about. Oh god, what did I just... Can I go... Oh, I can't go back. Okay, once you give me gossip, journalistic genius, handle the rest. The business. I don't know what I just skipped. I don't know whether or not I can go back. So can I sell all my gossip? Because that would be pretty swell. A lawyer recently got into a fistfight with a risk guy who tried to claim a seat at the opera. Is it a sign of abuse by nobility or the lawyer's unnecessary impotence? I need money, so let's at least sell the shocking stuff. If you do this, there's no chance of the public finding out. A captain in the guard royals crucially caught engaging in an utterly staggering number of extramarital affairs. Is he a vulgar cat or a romantic road? He's an absolute fucking Chad. There should be a 1 in 20 chance of the public finding out. So I guess if I sell a lot at the same day. Some representatives from the certificate got free rooms. I can peddily influence to make them favour different things. Well, I've got enough money. Let's try swaying the bourgeois towards the crown. There's a 1 in 10 chance. Bourgeois move towards the crown. Leads to one of the factions changes. While the crown and revolution always oppose each other, the church, military, and bourgeois are undecided. Their allegiance determine who they side with in the coming conflict. Alright, let's not push it any further. Next morning you find a letter in your nightstand. Camille must have brought it in while you were still asleep. Sealed in golden and wax with the initials LS. Open it up, you find a letter from Le Citivo, written with the well-practiced handwriting when he spends most of their day among books, scrolls, and tomes. Cher Yvette, while I'm thankful that you met you on that most faithful night, I cannot forget the terrible sins committed against you, a wicked host. Those creatures of mine, I believe I have some information you'll find quite interesting. Le Citivo goes on to describe a particular fighting deep in the city. He'd like to meet you in secret as he's worried about someone intercepting a letter. Shouldn't be really that powerful? Le Citivo's lead is now available. Please meet me there as soon as you can. I'll share what I know. Mes salutations. Using your map doesn't take long to figure out where the fountain is. You can visit it today if you like. I don't. I need a dress. I need a new dress for a wine tasting. So the only thing they like is this. Which, to be fair, I think is a nice dress. And the crown likes it too, so that's helpful. Should I buy anything else while I'm here? What comes up after? Oh, that's annoying me. What comes up after this? It's the monarchy. It's the crowns one. I already own a provincial dress. Oh, I know why there's multiples. It's because like they wear out. Let's buy this then, because that's a plus. And I can sell if I wanted. I will not worry. Where is Leisha? You wake the sound of someone knocking your door downstairs. Before you can get up, you hear Camille cheerily call out, "I'll get it." And chances are you hear her spend a minute talking to the man whose harsh voice you don't recognise. When the conversation finishes, Camille heads up to your room. We need to talk about the rent and my wages. What would you like me to do? Well, the grumpy man downstairs is our landlord. We're paid up on the rent through the week. We need to make sure there's enough food for next week. You wanted to pay him this week, but next week we'll need to have 35 liras for our rent and 5 liras for my wages, or we could be in trouble. You have to pay your rent and the wages of your servants, or deal with damage your credibility, or perhaps even peril. Enjoy your food, Magnus. I'll probably not be streaming too much longer anyway. I might see about trying to go to the Royal Ball and we'll call it there. But that's about it. So enjoy your food. Anything else, madame? Why am I paying you 5 liras a week? Breakfast, please. Well, that's a problem. How am I going to raise this? Because I don't actually know. It's a party being held by the bourgeois. And this is the best I have. Oh, that's nice. I can just sort by. As the carriage nears the party, consider taking one last assess. Check a tiny mirror. They have no strong feelings. Your credibility's not changed much, but it has gone up because it's positive. You have a ripple of whispers signal arrival at any social event these days. Is the line in the vestibule? Standing in this line you eyes over here in interesting hour. Make a mental note of it just in case. Cheap bourgeois gossip. You feel the exhaustion set in as soon as you look past the door towards the enormous crowd. It's going to be a long night. Being exhausted is giving me a credibility penalty. I thought it does that. Okay, so what that means is it takes away 5 credibility at the start of the party, not that your credibility counts as 5 lower. Right, nod to her and into the party. Alright, we have 2 turns. A libertine gentleman is in need of your skills to exact a devastating plot to avenge a petty slight. Well, that sounds stupid. You notice Robert Hunt approaching you in some Remorse attempt. The whole situation feels off. Something scandalous, but you're not sure you want to be so close to it. I could get money out of this, that's good. Games of chance might be illegal, doesn't mean they aren't widely enjoyed. Oh, I could use that money. But like the peril and the credibility risk is high. And this is the same as while I was at the church, essentially. This one intrigues me the most. Let's do this. This may not be the most effective option, but you find yourself in a relatively secluded room, stealthily surveying the area to see if there's anyone particularly important that you should be introducing yourself to. I do like some of these background arts. The character models are a bit stylized. Hey, real. Unfortunately, this is coming to the end of the stream a little bit, but you know, still here. You're still here in time to join us for the last couple parties we're gonna do. Introduce yourself as, of course, a mild breach of decorum. Use neither the time nor the patience for things, and there's work to be done. We're still going for a little while. Don't worry. Ears perk up as someone whispering behind you. You can't make out the words themselves, almost like a frantic argument, one with a sudden resolution. A woman suddenly approaches you, appearing at the corner of vision. Bonjour, Madame Ducat. Sorry to push you suddenly, I was wondering something. By I, of course, I mean to say we, she adds quite hurriedly. Of course? As anything strange rambling about something ends with of course. Have you two come to a decision? The man asks impatiently, also entering the conversation from outside your vision. Why do I feel like I'm being invited to a threesome? I was just getting to that. Excuse-moi, but who is this man and why are we listening to him? This man is my husband. You might describe us as a lively but discreet married couple. You're an interesting one. And very attractive. Her husband interjects over. Yeah, I'm being invited to a threesome. I don't know why to bring that up right this second, she replies irately. The two of them pause to bicker amongst each other and whispers for a minute or so while you sip your wine in silence. You see, we've been looking for a woman like yourself to join us. It takes a moment for you to put their insinuations together. Not because you've never heard of a menage a trois, it's just you didn't think you'd be approached by a pair of desperate strangers. The way they propose is almost adorable. Most people do couples that grow tired of each other, you just skip straight to silent, furious adultery. Still, you don't know why you'd want to act as a stand-in just to kindle their flagging desire. I must confess, I have no idea what you're talking about. A medium. Let's give the challenge a go. What exactly would you want? Ah, fantastique. I'll go find our coachman, retreat to our home, and... Wait, you want to leave right now? I agree to the host to determine what she... You're doing this again. Pray tell what I'm doing. Argument flares eventually, and they hastily excuse themselves for a moment. You sighs to disappear into another room. Nothing else, this particular type of scandalous foolishness makes for great gossip. Before you walk away, you catch the glint of something shiny on the floor. One of them dropped their coin purse? I get 24 lira. Swiftly tucked into body, you feel guilty, but the recent memory of their presumption removes such thoughts from your mind. Left your own devices once more, you start to wonder how these sorts of things keep happening to you. I wonder if it is entirely possible for, that the game will have you follow through. That looks like Armand. Oh, I can have a memory of Armand. Well, fuck that, I have other things to do. You hear some strange noises coming from a cloak closet. That's suspicious, but okay. Oh, I can potentially get favour with one of the leadables. A pair of women seem to have quite a bit to say to her, but aren't doing so. They kept ready to speak about one of them would get them alone. Oh, okay, so so the thing is, I don't have favour with either of them, so I don't think losing it's really a risk. Obviously, getting some perils. Actually, I can only lose peril or gain nothing. Yeah, we're gonna do that one. Big conversation. There's two women apart from everyone else, and they're laughing in the guilty yet carefree way that suggests something is afoot. They've yet to notice you, yet you're drawn to them, like a banker towards an outstanding debt. I've heard the most outlandish things to my fellow business partners in the bourgeoisie. I just know it'll come back to haunt me if I repeat it here. Ah, what a familiar feeling. My husband's told me what he's seen in the army, and I'm of the same mind. Not sure I could endure the backlash that would result. The two women stare at each other in silence, even though they're definitely just locking eyes with me, which gives way to barely suppressed laughter, then silence again. It's settled in. Neither of us discuss what we know with anyone, even each other. And what she says, you need to see me trouble to get either of them to talk. Just a matter of weathering the consequences. As I said, anyone who leaks these particular rumors face immediate scrutiny from whoever had their secrets exposed. Starting to part from each other. You have to follow one of them. I'm more likely... Let's go after the military. You follow the woman as she leaves her companion behind. They were resolute. Divided shall surely fall. Do I know you? She asks as you approach her, desperately trying to maintain a stony and determined expression. As you chat together, it doesn't take long for the facade to fall away. Share a few choice anecdotes. I hate words sometimes. Why did we have to evolve speaking? Why couldn't we just be telepathic? Me just sitting here in stony silence. All of you just hearing whatever I'm saying through the computer. That's just the way it should be. You share a few choice anecdotes. It's not anecdote. You share a few choice stories of your own. She's soon eager to tell you what's burning within her. You gain some cheap military gossip. I guess previously it's clear she's no real sense of discretion. Like that before the night is over, members of the military will know that you got this information from her. I've lost favour with Alex, who I've not met, so I don't care. Following conversation is empty as energetic. Nothing of substance, something said for enthusiasm making things interesting. Sometime later, sensing a lull in discussion, you excuse yourself to pursue other inquiries. So, Madame Revielon. So let's see. So that's the hotelier thing. A coalition of members of the bourgeoisie have been investing a large amount of money in hot air balloons. Are they visionaries, or wasting money on ridiculous fancies? The king plans to weigh in on a legal case where an enlisted man struck an officer during an argument at a local theatre. Is this attentiveness from the king, or an infringement on military discipline? Can I maybe go negative with favour? Because if so, I didn't plan that as much as I hoped. The 8th of April. Yeah, that's plenty of time. We'll accept. We're gonna go until this party here, so the 3rd. So we have another couple of days. But that seems like it's gonna be the next story beat. So we'll do that, and then we'll call the stream. What do I want to do today? I'm quite poor, so I'm gonna go and sell some gossip because I need to pay people. Oh, I guess that this means I can get more gossip. I don't know what the cafe does. We'll visit there. We'll go to the trumpet. So what we do for now is we fill each day with different actions. So I mean, I know you've only joined. Um, well, obviously, if we didn't have dresses ready for the next event, because every piece of fashion correlates with different factions, we would need to make sure that we were getting that. We can sell the gossip we found in order to make money or influence politics, which we need to do because we need to pay our rent and the wages of the servants. We can obviously, I think, go gather more gossip. I don't know what the cafe does, and then there's random events that can happen, such as we've encountered a priest who is one of the romance options, who has a lead for us relating to the bastard party host. So these are all still considered fresh, just about. We'll want to get rid of these two church ones first. And obviously what's this symbol? I don't know. But the more I sell, the more likely it is that people find out. I don't know what happens if people find out. That's the only thing. 1 and 4. Yeah, let's just hold off. I'm assuming I lose credibility if I get caught selling gossip. Okay. So I should have enough money to cover the rent and such, so let us... The park. Oh, so these locations change, and this is the Citivo's lead. So let's go do this. He's learned some information about the Baron. Leave the house early in that usual morning. It's uncertain how long it'll take you to talk to the fountain. Given that you're still new to skullduggery, decide to dress in darker clothes and stuck to comfortable walking shoes. Surprisingly enough, you managed to find the fountain without getting turned around. Seems like the perfect place for a meeting like this. Just enough people wandering around you won't draw attention. Also few enough people to find somewhere secluded to talk. Looking around, you can't spot Ludovico anywhere. So take us to the edge of the fountain. It makes sense to be visible enough for people to find you in any flashy waving or signalling. You get comfortable, smooth out your skirts, and pause for a moment reflecting decisions that led you to point your life where you're having a secret rendezvous with priests that are more about your hated enemies. If anything, they must have been good decisions. I just realised, I've had the game audio muted this entire time. You haven't missed out on much, there's no real voice acting or anything, but just, you know. I'm sure you guys wouldn't mind not having a little bit of the background audio. It did start very loud, so it's probably too low. Sometime later, after you've waved away a particular enthusiastic tea salesman for the third time, you see a familiar face emerge from behind the shadows of a tree. Bonjour, madame, he nods pleasantly. You seem troubled. Anything a humble priest could help you with? Father, my woes are too terrible to discuss in public. Can we go somewhere private? Lucidivo, if we're being followed, our pursuers already know who we are. I'm going to play along. I think it's more fun. Excellent idea, madame. Please lead the way. You get a little favour with Ludovico. Why do I keep calling him Lucidivo? You find a quiet corner in the square to speak with Ludovico. He opens the book he's carrying and reads over some sort of list he's keeping in it. As I said before, I'm sorry for everything that happened to you. Something about Maximum's smug demeanour's always rubbed me the wrong way, even ignoring all of his snide remarks about the church. With that in mind, I started asking around about him, seeing if his revolutionary righteousness was real or a mere facade. He answered with a sly smile. First, it would be difficult to interview so many people. You'd be amazed what people are willing to tell a simple priest. While something solid, I think you'd be interested in the fact that Maximum's household goes through servants quite quickly. Hands you a list of names, presumably of servants used to work for Maximum. Usual complaints about long hours, skip wages, general unpleasantness. One stood out to me, simply because of how few details I could find. A servant leaving their master under mysterious circumstances. If Maximum has a dark secret, then this is it. Merci, Ludovico. Your help means a lot to me. Think nothing of it, madame. Just trying to do the right thing. I'm sure if Ludovico is helping exact your revenge could be classified as the right thing, but you're not going to complain. If you're going to seek vengeance on Maximum, the best time to it would be April 24th, the night of his grand salon. It'll be guaranteed to be well attended, which means you can't ignore your accusations. Of course, traditionally, both evidence and an invitation. While I must go, be warned that tracking this person down will not be easy. Couldn't find any information about this mystery servant, not their name, where they live, or even the position they held in the home. I pray for your success. Ciao, madame, Ludovico says for Leon. Stop thinking about this new information. Mystery servant who left Maximum and was employed suddenly under murky circumstances. Seems fruitful, but you'll have to dig deeper first. Researching Maximum is now available to visit the Paris map. Without you start to head home, already planning your next move against your sworn enemy. If you want to bring him to ruin, you have to be ready for April 24th. It's March now. Never mind, it's the 1st of April. Aren't I a fool? News spread of the king's meetings with an ambassador for Tipu Sahib, the Sultan of Mysore. The Sultan seeks an alliance against the British Empire, which encroaches upon his territory. Simple goodwill, the king commissioned the finest mechanics in France to create a small mechanical tiger that, when wound up, would chew on a tiny doll of a British grenadier. Is that real? Because that's hilarious. It's assumed both sides spent some time bonding over their mutual hatred of the English. The king's ambassadors acquitted themselves well, managing to embolden the Sultan against the English without overpromising anything in terms of military aid. The crown has gained some power. The power of one of the factions changed. The power of the crown and the revolution helps determine who prevailed in the coming conflict between the two. The power of the church, military, and bourgeoisie are determined how effectively or when they pick a side. So does that mean I can change history? Could I totally empower the crown and declaw the revolution, have the revolution not happen? And so in Paris, life goes on. The pamphlet debut. Well, I haven't actually visited the revolution yet. April 10th. Yeah, that's all spaced out nicely. I'll have to do a lot of resting. Well, I haven't explored any of these. The perils of journalism, fabric shortage. I've done some of these. Let's see what this luxurious restaurant, the Rendezvous, caters to the wealthy. Try the lamp. Let's go see what this does. Because it's a shop of some sort, but I don't know what it does. Your wanderings take you to the 12th arrondissement. You become used to the city's myriad smells. Your nose picks up a new surprising scent. Flavorful yet subtle, layered but restrained. Smell good food for. This is something else entirely. Quickening your pace, you find a sign that reads La Grande Taverne de Londaise. Slightly puzzling. Nothing like a rustic tavern scene in France. You find a dining room brightly lit by crystal chandeliers, furnished with mahogany tables draped with fine linen tablecloths. A few aristocrats look up from their table from a jeans. You feel rather underdressed in your day clothes. You pull out your journal and jot the address down. It's an available rendezvous location. Oh! Okay, so I'm now aware this place exists, and if I'm basically having a date with one of the romance options, I can take them here. Exquisite food and an elegant atmosphere, exactly what I was looking for. Spend a few minutes chatting with staff and perusing the menu before you head home. Visions of a feast dancing in your head. I'm sure we'll return sometime soon. Okay, now we're going to rest before the party, before we have to go to the opera. What else is here today? That looks like a theatre, music square. Yep. We'll go ahead and get rid of my levels of exhaustion so that we're ready for... You decide to take the day off and spend some time at home resting and recuperating. Spending the day in, taking care of yourself. Yep. Okay. And you turn your matters to things that matter. Now we're going to go and meet the royals. This can't go badly. Oh, another invitation for the revolution. No, afraid not. We're not doing 2 in a row. I'm afraid I must decline, Duke. What are the names difficult to pronounce? We're in France. Yeah, this is pre-revolutionary France. And I'm, an uneducated swine. Okay, so I need to wear probably this. Oh, or I could wear the provincial dress, actually. Yeah, we'll wear the provincial dress because it's got maximum novelty. Actually, thinking about there's some difference. So yeah, literally, you and me both, Lama. Nah, you're educated. You're fine. All right, let's assess our preparations. The guests improve your outfit and your credibility increases. Alright. Tonight should be a largely positive affair. Step out of your carriage and they hear the ripple of whispers. It's a cathedral. You overhear an interesting rumor and make a mental note of it. You're neither well rested nor exhausted. Nothing's holding you back. Let us send a bottle of wine to the host. Gratefully take the gift from you, set it aside. And to the party, you hear the whispers of other guests noting your generosity. You spent 10 lira, you lose some power and you gain some credibility. So that's good to know. That's what that does. Let the games begin. Okay, so now we need to pick our conversations. We only have 2 turns. Why is there a woman here who looks so much like you? Oh no. Your conversation with a clever woman could use valuable results. You have to find a way to divert a certain meddling musician. Lots of potential for gossip. You come across a painter locked in a conversation with an amateur art critic. Judging from the look on her face, she'd rather be anywhere else. Something about the skill and eagerness makes it feels like it bears investigation. I can get favour with Elizabeth, who I assume is the crown romance option, who I haven't met. Cheap crown gossip. Wouldn't be a party held by the rest of us if someone didn't challenge your qualifications. In fact, a gentleman's approaching you just to do that. You might say, wait a minute, you might be able to get something useful out of it. This is not great. I mean, I mostly just have bad chances here, but I'm curious about the event itself. So let's do it. When circling the party, you happen to notice something very strange. At first you thought you'd been looking in a mirror. Something was simply off about the whole thing. How odd. Walk over to expect said mirror, but you're interrupted by someone in the middle of your approach. Ah, Madame Ducas, so please see again. Would you judge me for a moment? Might discuss our business again? You still remember everything we went over? No? You have no idea who the devil this is. Well, sure, I have no idea who you are. You what? Madame, do not embarrass me in front of this many notable classes. Time for joking. You've gained a little peril. So you pushed me early in the evening, said you're interested in borrowing a substantial amount of money. The interest may be significant. Already convinced me that this isn't worth worrying about. He looks you up and down, puzzled by something. It might be so why did you change your outfit? Well, sure, I can assure you I have not changed my clothes. You haven't? Surely? Then, if you aren't the one I spoke with then... But I'm sorry, I must leave immediately. We'll have to discuss your loans later, replies the attendant downstairs. There's an undertone of panic in his voice. He hurries away nervously, which seems good to you as he's still planning on trying to negotiate some kind of massive loan with you. The kind you can't possibly afford. Hi, Affid. You've gained a little peril. Your first priority is finding this mysterious woman pretending to be you. Oh, so I guess this is going to be like a recurring event across several, what's the word? Parties. I guess I'll find her again. Oh, okay, I had this one, so I don't want to lose favour with the Citavo. I would like to gain favour with, Elizabeth. I want to see what she is. Devastating plot for petty revenge. Chambermaid's been charged with returning a lost pouch of coins. Perhaps you can assist her. I can steal the money. A messenger at the bird pressing information. Scandalous news might be worth a bit if someone was to obtain it. Outrageous crown gossip? Hell yeah. The king has bought a duck. Absolutely outrageous. And the stream's going fine, Affid. Better you're here now. Thank you very much for asking. How are you today? Strolling through the event, you find yourself in the vestibule of the party venue again. The room is empty as the doorman appears to be off doing something else. You're startled by the sound of frantic banging at the door. Who is it? Madame, a messenger traveled a long way at great haste with grave news. You open the door to see the young messenger, sweating profusely. You see a horse outside pacing anxiously back and forth. Without another word, he steps inside. Once inside, he frantically looks around the otherwise empty room. Excuse me, can't we find Madame Marie Delorian, the Countess de Brione? I have grave and potentially scandalous news for her. Of course, monsieur, he must find the Countess immediately. Medium. Let's do it. We can't risk it, he asks slowly. Mon Dieu, madame, you're right. Come closer and make sure to deliver every word you hear to the Countess and only the Countess. As he frantically whispers details, you find your eyes opening wider and wider in shock. It's equal parts tantalizing and ghastly. Surely it can't be real. But it must be, otherwise the messenger wouldn't be here. It's no wonder the Countess needed to hear this immediately. You've gained a piece of outrageous crown gossip. Of course, Pierre would like this information as well as perfect material for his paper. Still, sharing it with the Countess could be hazardous. Also lead to a reward or improved esteem in her eyes. Must be a way before someone spots me. Curse these courtly intrigues. A little bit. It's more of a dating sim. And it's, yeah, it's like a resource management type thing. Because you have to, buy dresses for different parties and they can't become too, the novelty of them can't wear off. He takes his leave and you're left with a valuable secret. Perhaps the Countess should hear of this, or I keep it to myself. If I keep it, I can sell it, and that's guaranteed money. If I do it, there is risk, but I can maybe get a reward. What do we think, chat? Keep the gossip and sell it, or do we tell the Countess and, take the risk? Okay, keep it. I'll give it a minute, see if anyone else wants to, protest. I think you can keep it for yourself. Okay, 2 for keep it. Maybe you think it's easy enough for a woman in your position. Some new valuable knowledge acquired. You decide to look around the rest of the party, see what else you can accomplish. So, the opera gala hosted by the Duc de Harcourt. The Queen has been seen bedecked with a spectacular diamond necklace. It is a sign of royal power or necessary excess. The Queen plans to grant a title to one of her closest female friends. Is the Queen recognising merit or merely giving honours to personal favourites? Lost some money, gain some power, gain some credibility. Lots and lots of gossip. And this is where we're going to leave it. I actually thought that might be more story related because it was a choice between the revolution and the crown, but apparently not. But this has been Ambition, a Minuet in Power, which raises the question of, am I happy I backed it? Let me just double check for a start. How much did I back this for? Because I definitely did it at like one of the lower tiers. Yeah, so I backed it at the lady tier. It is actually vastly delayed because I'm looking at the estimated delivery date was November 2018. But, you know, this was $20. This was $20, which is actually probably more than. Hang on, is it more? What's $20 in Great British pounds? I paid slightly less than the game would cost now. Let's see. Campaign. So, yeah, this was the lowest tier that actually gave me the game. I could have like pledged $1 and got nothing. But every tier above that was like, hey, do you want you know, soundtracks and stuff? It's like, I don't even know if it's gonna be any good yet. So I am happy, I'd say, that I backed this because I think it's different, and that is reason enough for it to exist. I don't think it's flawless, but I mean, nothing ever is. I'm still not totally sold on like the character design. Like facial expressions especially can be a little bit strange. But by and large, I think it is quite a characterful game. It's quite an enjoyable game. I would love to see how it continues. So far, I mean, we've been streaming for coming up on 2 hours, and we've had one real story event, which was obviously that first party, and then we met. We basically got like the setup for future story stuff. And it's mostly just been party. I'm looking forward to seeing how things develop. Obviously, there's 5 or 6 dateable characters. I think one for each of these factions, plus obviously your fiance. So I mean, it's interesting. There's definitely gonna be a lot of replayability. You know, if you really have the ability to like totally shift how the French Revolution went. You know, like, hey, here's the crown. If the crown are super powerful, does the revolution lose? You know. So that'd be interesting. I don't think it's an easy recommend, though. I think that there's a lot to... I think it's going to be very clear whether or not this is going to be your type of thing. You know, and maybe it is. And if it is, that's great. It is made by the... one second. It's Joy Ambition... Yeah, sorry. Joy Manufacturing Company, published by Iceberg Interactive. And you can currently buy it on Steam for £16 or your regional equivalent. There is also a free demo. So if you're interested in what you've actually seen today, you can go and check out Ambition and Minuet and Power. Try the demo for yourself, or hopefully this was enough for you. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see where it goes from here. Yes, actually, you can in fact see. It actually shows you all 6 dateable people. So there's Elizabeth Viggy Lebrun, who's the Queen's personal painter. Obviously, we've met Ludovico. There's Thomas Alexandre Dumas. Hang on, isn't that a real person? Why do I know the name Dumas? Hang on. Yeah, it is. It was a French general in the Revolutionary War. Huh. I thought he was real. Honoré de Gazelle. and Le Antoine de Saint-Just. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you enjoyed hanging out in the stream today. That's going to be it for us because I want to go get some lunch. Anything I have left to tell you? As I said earlier, if you're interested in Arma, our unit is now recruiting. I'll repost that link for you if I can find it. Here we are. So that's going to go into chat in just a second. If you're interested in playing Arma 3 with us, that is an option. If you're not interested in playing but still interested in the game itself, we will in fact be streaming on Saturday, usual time, so it's about 9 o'clock UK time. It is a mission of my own design. We're set in World War II, and it should hopefully be quite a bit of fun. Not sure about broadcasts next week, as I'm getting ready to go to London next weekend for a little bit to meet some friends, but I'll let you know. I would love to get back into streaming a little bit more during the week. But yeah, I will let you know. Follow my Twitter. That's where I usually say that I'm doing these things. It's 9 p.m. British time. So, yep. With all that said, thank you very much for hanging out today. I nearly said tonight because I'm used to that. Thanks so very much for hanging out tonight, folks. Hope you have a lovely day, night, whatever. And yeah, take care. Yeah, bye. If you missed any part of this stream, you'll find it on YouTube, or you can check the VODs here on the Twitch channel. So, au revoir.